How do you stand on like how do you feel about like copyright stuff? Because I know we talked about like the radio and how things get played. Like for instance, me doing stuff on iTunes and SoundCloud and YouTube, I always got to be careful like what I play, and I want to play things a lot of times because you know what I mean, that's what generates those emails. Who's this band? Oh my God, who's this band? But you know, you get in trouble. You never know who the record label is. Indie labels, you know, they claim it, or you'll get a copyright, things like that.
Right.
Oh, you know, how are you? You know, how do you feel about that? And also, how is it in relation to your new EP? With because you have your own label now, right?
Well, I mean, you know, the Last Smile record came out on our own label that we formed with a friend. But the solo EPs that I do, I actually release on no label. Not even my own fake label. It's just no label. You don't need a label these days, basically. And
yeah,
you know, I as far as copyright stuff goes, I mean, this is a free for all day and age. This is a weird time, and you know, I don't like the fact that that it's so loose out there.
Yeah.
But as far as getting played promotionally, that's never a problem to me. You know, when somebody like you plays it on your show, I mean, that helps me as well. So I never have a problem with stuff like that. The illegal downloading is the downside, but
yeah,
there's really nothing you can do about all that stuff these days. So you might as well just not be uptight about it.
Yeah, and I mean, I would be pretty pissed myself, or you know what I mean. I mean, not too pissed, but I would be bothered by it a little bit because it's like, you know, if I create a T-shirt or something, I create a product and I put it out there. Most likely, it can't be replicated. Everyone's going to buy it, and if 60% people are interested in it and they buy it, you know what I mean. Even if they end up not liking it or stop using it, they bought it, and I made money from it because I put work into doing that product. And now with music, it's like only the hardcore people buy the CD now, and even
dude, it's probably under 5% of listeners that actually purchase the music. I mean, it's you know.
Yeah, I mean that drives me crazy because it's like, well, you know, you like this band, you're listening to them. If you put any time into listening to them, I just feel like you have to give them some money. There is a flip side where I find it's amazing that some people want money. Like Dave, you talk about those goofy songs that I make on my show sometimes that I put out there, and people are like, put that up on iTunes so I can buy it. And I'm like, what? Really? You could just
what? Really?
You could just rip it off YouTube, you know what I mean, if you wanted to or whatever. So it's interesting. You know, I noticed the difference when Nine Inch Nails was doing all their stuff. Like they were like, here's the album free, but also here's a download of it, and here's a high quality download of it. Here's a high quality CD version of it with extra photos, and you can pay $100 for. So it's like they were like, let's get every avenue.
Right.
So like, I mean, if you guys made like the Smile, you know, if you made Smile Empty Souls new CD and you had like a $40 like, you know, we signed the picture, you know, we signed this photography that we took, and then we put the book, you know, that's something I think about. You know what I mean? I might buy that, and sometimes maybe that's a way to compensate a little bit for all the, you know, drive-bys or people who are listening to you for a little while who don't end up purchasing it all and they just download it.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, that is like something we've been taking into consideration is for the physical copy, it has to be kind of a special package. Or I mean, what's really what's the reason to buy it unless there's something special about it?
Yeah.
Unless there's something that you want to physically be able to hold in your hand, you know.
Yeah. Like you made 100 copies of this, you know, special thing. You know what I mean? It's $5,000, you know, if it's 100 copies. You know, that type of thing. I mean, I think people are into that, and I know it's a tough economy, but I don't even know if I really believe that whole thing, because it's like, you know, if you listen to it, $5, $10, you're going to listen to this CD for a long time. You know, you can put $9 down or $10 down on the CD. You know, it's not $19.99 where the CDs are $17. Remember that? That was crazy. That's part of what drove, you know, all those downloads, is that the CD prices in the late 90s.
Totally. Yeah, they were getting pretty high there for a second.
We're just so spoiled, you know, everything's so right there. I mean, there's such an oversaturation. Everything's right at your fingertips, and people are very, very entitled now, and it's sad. It really upsets me to think about some of the artists that are struggling because of it.
But
well, you know, it's funny though, because I was talking to a friend just the other day that, that works at a record label. He runs a label, and he was telling me how he held out for so long trying to buy CDs to have the physical copy to support the industry that he's in, and
Sure.
And it got to the point where it was so hard. He'd go out to try to find the records that he actually wanted, and Best Buy wouldn't have it anyway. They only have Taylor Swift and a couple of copies of this and that, and so then he'd have to order it online. But then you got to wait days and days for the physical copy, and before you know it, even at his label, they're just sitting there listening to Spotify when they work.
Well, that's when
it's like,
something, you're right. Spotify is all over my work, and I'm like, oh no, like what is this now? What's this about?
Well, yeah, that's another way of, you should see the actual payment that the artist gets from spins on Spotify. It's as if it's nothing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the 9 cents.
A lot of people think, oh, I'm paying for Spotify, and then they just listen to whatever. But Spotify makes a few bucks off of it, and then the artist really doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's another thing that kind of drains the whole industry,
Right.
Have you found it harder to create? Is it stifling your creatism? Your creativity?
Doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't sound like it, but I mean, like deep down, do you feel like it's affecting you, or is it just driving you to create more unique and go bigger?
I don't think it's really having an effect either way on the creative aspect for me, at least. It's it is another topic that you can draw inspiration from here and there potentially, but I think it's not really affecting me in that way.
Now I got I know Sean's got to run here, but I do want to ask you the one last thing here. The question that I got from Isaac sent me this, so I gotta get this out.
I gotta get Isaac in there.
He'll go after me. He wanted to know, like, what do you do, like, out, because you really do. You're creating a lot all the time. There's another CD. There's more songs. There's stuff going on. What do you do in your downtime? Are you into sports? Are you into video games and movies? What goes on when you're not making music, if that's even possible?
I paint a lot, and I'm addicted to baseball. I'm a baseball
you just
fanatic.
went up on my list, buddy. That's awesome.
We're huge. we're big baseball guys over here.
I'm actually a Sox fan. I grew up in Maine.
Wait, what?
I grew up in Brewer, Maine. So
no way. This is crazy. Dave, suck it, Cubs.
Right? We're some Cub love.
I do love your Cubs, though. That's awesome, though. I grew up in New Hampshire.
Oh, did you? Mm-hmm. So are you a Sox fan?
Yeah. I'm in Boston. Yeah, I'm a big Red Sox fan, man. How about
That's what I figured.
Did you freak out in 2004 or what?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what actually brought me back to caring about baseball again.
Me too. I'm the same way. I stopped watching and I started.
I really lost it when the Yankees won all those championships in a row. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna not like this sport anymore for a while.
The evil empire has stifled my love for baseball.
I was lucky enough to start again in 2003, the beginning season when they signed Ortiz and all those guys. I just happened to be like, I'm gonna get into this again, and then we had that heartbreaking 2003 loss, and but talk about a payoff. And
Jesus, yeah, come on.
I know, but hey, my whole life to that point, you know this too. I'm a.
You seriously want to have that conversation with a Cubs fan?
No,
seriously.
I know you're suffering over there. I get it, but the Bruins, the Red Sox, the Pats, everybody was terrible, and everybody hated us, and we were awful. We were terrible my whole life. I'm 30 now, and at that point, our teams were terrible.
Yep, the Sox. It's pretty crazy the success that they've had now over the last 10 years or whatever years.
Kung Fu Panda.
11 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm happy about it. And guys, I know Sean's gonna run, but I do want to let you know he's going on tour right now. Check the tour dates on his Facebook page, Smile Empty Soul, and then I think do you have your own Sean Danielsen Facebook page, right?
I do have a Facebook page, Twitter page. I'm actually building SeanDanielsen.com right now to be able to sell my physical copy EPs on there, as well as my paintings. So that should be up in probably a month or two.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, if you ever get a link to anything about this, selling it, whatever individually, you can send it to me too. I'll put that link up on my channel, so when people hear this, they can go over there, they can click on it, they get right to it or whatever.
Great.
So check him out. He's on tour now, coming to a location near you. Go out, see him doing his solo routine. He's probably hanging around during the shows too, and
oh yeah.
It's probably
at the merch table.
It's at the merch table, and it's a great time to talk with them. I mean, that's the coolest thing about your solo. You get to really interact with the fans directly. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's a scary thing when you get to interact with the
Sign
fans.
my baby.
Yeah.
It can be both.
Yeah, right. Just like these shows too. Doing these shows now. Real quick before we go, the market, the way things are now. It used to be you're on MTV, you're on the radio, and you do those small late night music shows on television. But now you got everybody and their mother be on my podcast or be on my YouTube show, and you're like, okay, but you never know what you're going to get when you show up there. You get like an 11-year-old being like, "Are you in a band?" And you're like, "Oh no, it's one of those."
Yep.
So
you never know these days.
But hey, thanks very much, Sean Danielsen. Smile Empty Soul, and his solo record right now is called Food Chain on iTunes right now. You can go download it. I recommend you do that. Go buy it digitally from him. Go buy a physical copy from him on tour. And thanks for listening. JoeCroninShow.com for more information about Smile Empty Soul and Sean Danielsen's new solo album, Food Chain. I can't get out there, so I will see you in May, and I'll bring a bunch of friends. We'll hang out.
Sounds good, man.
Don't forget about Germany. We're here.
All right, dude,
We're
I'll
here.
See you there. I'll see you there.
All right, Sean. Have a good night,
warm,
man. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem, man. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.
And now, guys, we're going to play a song off of Food Chain called Rescue Me. And I think it's a great song. And the rest of them are really good, too. There's another one I was tempted to play. But go download it on iTunes now. I love the artwork. I don't know if, this is something I missed. I should have asked him. My journalism skills go goodbye. Because I should have asked him about who designed the artwork on this thing. The fish thing with the knives cut on its face. I love it.
I had my chance to rise again, to be the phoenix from the ashes of the dead. With no one left, as good as spent, I'll take these fucking pills until my dying breath. And when I flood this whole damn thing, just let me go. It's all a dream, 'cause you don't know the things I've said. Just let me go. Don't rescue me. Don't rescue me. Don't rescue me. No. I had my chance to change the scene, to know the deeper side. There's more than what we see, but I'm too numb